Pastor Crow. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
You never rearrange. Omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. Without you in my life, what I go do, what I go do, that I go dead. If I don't have you, here comes Jesus to the rescue.
Never fails.
Never fail me, yeah. Never.
My good friend Mr. Flynn and family out there in La Femme. The folks at the Beaton New Testament Church of God, good morning. My partner in Nawasa, how you doing, man? And your dear wife, my schoolmate, Kathy, and how you do? Nice. Just in case you're checking the time, it's 28 minutes on to 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock workers. Impress the boss today. Be early. Let him say, he's changed. She's changed, man. She's early today. Nice. Good morning to you, Veronica Sandy. She says, good morning, GB and Grenada. Good morning, Gordon, Innocent, Joseph. Blessings to all. Blessings to you too. Yeah, I hope you had a good night and you're up and ready to face the challenges of this brand new day. I hope for heaven's sake that the challenges that you had yesterday, they've evaporated and you have new ones today. Because if you had to deal with ones from yesterday, you still have today's one to deal with, you understand? So leave them where they are. Yeah, don't carry them, lay your burdens down. Good morning, good morning. I want to say good morning to you, Nadisha, out there in Cafe. How are you doing this morning? Hope all is well. I hope you and the family are doing fine. I hope the business is doing good too. Yeah, you're making a lot of money. Everybody looking to see how to make the extra dollar. What happens the day the dollar die? Yeah? It is said that we're coming to that state where money, dinero, laja, would be of no more. They say you have a card that I really want to be around them times, trust me. Papi, what you doing with me? Do it quick and let me go home and rest, eh? Nice. Yeah, things are going to get so much more complicated, man, as time progresses, but it's inevitable, So as Blossom would say, you just have to preparate yourself. Morning, Blossy and family. I want to say good morning to all those of you from the Grenada Child Protection Authority as you execute your activities for this week or this month. Don't forget, you've got to wear blue. I can't remember the day, but you had to wear blue, right? Good. To show your solidarity. 26 minutes on to 7 o'clock. I want to say good morning to the folks at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Good morning to each and every one of you. Always locked on. Nice. Good morning to my good friend Mr. Wayne Wagiti Redhead and family. Nice. Let's get into the word of the day. And the word for today, it's a nice word. It sounds long. It has a long spelling, but it's got a simple meaning. The word of the day today is the word reprehensible. Reprehensible. It is an adjective and it is spelled R-E-P R-E-H-E-N-S-I-B-L-E. Kind of spelling long like Mississippi boy. Reprehensible. It's an adjective. R-E-P-R-E-H-E-N-S-I-B-L-E. Now, reprehensible is a formal word that means worthy of or deserving blame or very strong criticism. Again, reprehensible. It is a formal word that means worthy of or deserving blame or very strong criticism. That sounds like in the realm of politics, boy. Let me not go there. And here's how we can use that word. A recent news article called for the mayor's resignation, citing the recent accusations of bribery as both plausible and reprehensible. Again, a recent news article called for the mayor's resignation, citing the recent accusations of bribery as both plausible and reprehensible. Yeah, you should apologize. Oh my goodness me, Grenada. Good morning to the politicians, man. I tried hard not to, call a name, but I don't have a choice this morning. I want to say good morning to Senator Jonathan Lacrette, the Honorable Senator, man. Papi, stay out of the politics. Stay in church, eh? You are so, man, goodness, this guy, he's a worshiper, man. Yeah, good morning to you and your family, man. Yeah, that's a conversation I want us to have one of these days, Really and truly, should Christians and spiritual leaders and so forth get into politics? Really? I listened to this gentleman, worship Sunday at the West Hall New Testament Church of God, and it was so spirit-filled, man. Papi, if you think the politics is going to compromise your spirituality, left it alone, eh? Yeah, trust me. Keep on doing what you're doing, man, in the spiritual realm you're doing, and Nonetheless, let's look at the thought of the day. And the thought of the day, it says, I gave you a hint of it earlier. In every day, there are 1,440 minutes. That means we have 1,440 daily opportunities to make a positive impact. In every day, there are 1,440 minutes, which means we have 1,440 daily opportunities to make a positive impact. Now, even if you don't make 1,440, but make as many as you can, Yeah, life is not perfect, so we expect us to falter and fall along and, make mistakes every now and then, but try and get as many positive impacts in your day as possible. Yeah, good. So what's buzzing this morning? Well, let me let you know up front. We've got a guest this morning. We've got a guest via our Zoom platform, and I'll be speaking with Nurse St. Paul, and we'll be talking vaccination. There's a week scheduled for or designated for vaccination, and I'm happy that we're having that conversation this morning because quite a number of parents are, I don't know if they're uninformed or misinformed, but they're having problems with the vaccination drive that is ongoing in the schools and so forth. And I'm happy that we'll have that as much clarification as possible this morning. I remember as a youngster going to the Tivoli RC school. I don't know how many of you remember that, but I have the marks on my arm still where they'd come with this gun and you remember that? You get the shot, and it kept me alive. It kept me healthy. But we're seeing certain retaliatory approach by parents now. I don't know if it's getting mixed up with the COVID-19 vaccine and who had their reservations about that and so forth. So we will have some clarification on that this morning, all right? Good, nice. So we'll have that conversation with our nurse, and then we'll try and get in as much more of a conversation as we can here. And what's buzzing this morning? Grenada's most decorated Olympian, Kirani James, he takes to the track on Saturday. And he will come up against Isaac Makwala. Also, will he allow the Spice Man to beat him in front of his home crowd? Well, time alone will tell. But I'm telling you, you're getting some blue dashing and some Bonita and some Jack's energy. Yeah, Guav tongue we come from. So you got to be prepared, man. Don't think it's just a walkover. You feel we going down in age and you could just, in front of your home crowd, you'll gain it. Yeah, Kirani is going to give us a run of his life on Saturday. So we'll follow that, all right? That's buzzing this morning. Also, Harry Belafonte, well, he's passed on to the great beyond. He was born in let me see, when was Harry born, boy? He was born in 1927. Yeah. I listen to his song. I look at him every now and then on YouTube, performing his so-called calypso hits. Well, he has a kind of West Indian voice to an extent, but he can't perform calypso. You remember when Sparrow did a little line on him? With play one for Mello? Harry Belafonte. Yeah, good, nice. Okay, also buzzing, opposition leader calls for apology. Our Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell is calling for an apology from Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, who has alluded to there being a cabinet conclusion to support his claims that money from the sale of a diplomatic passport were diverted to the NNP party office just before the 2023 general elections. Dr. Keith say the Honorable Deacon Mitchell should apologize. He should do the gentlemanly thing and apologize. All right? We'll see how this one ends up, because I know Mr. Mitchell, the other Mitchell, he's brave like that. He's going to come forth. He's going to. So let's see how this one plays out. It's full speed ahead for the Spice Mask preparations. Now, while carnival lovers are looking to enjoy the fun and frolic, businesses are looking for an economic boost. Touting the win-win situation, Spice Mask Corporation is calling on the business community to step forward and make its contribution. Yes, and I agree with that. Okay, at the end of the day, the businesses thrive. You get a jump. So invest in it. Spend some money in it. You understand? Be a part of the process. Don't just sit down and reap the benefits and rewards. Okay, so be a part. Get engaged. Sponsor something. Sponsor a Calypso tent. As a matter of fact, we're looking for a sponsor for the Calypso tent in St. David. All right? Yeah, the Kingdom Calypso tent. We want a sponsor for it this year, and we will send out some requests in a while. Okay? Good. Nice. Also buzzing this morning, owners of hair salons, nail shops, barber shops, and other businesses that fall under the beauty and wellness profession, they are at odds with the regulations that are set to be implemented in order for the businesses to operate on the island. I heard a little news clip on that last night. A lady with a kind of foreign accent, but she sounded pissed. So we'll see how this one goes. We'll try to get some more engagement on that. Child sexual abuse continues to be a bane in Grenada. The issue is being addressed again as the Child Protection Authority engages in a series of activities for Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. All right, Blossom and I spoke about that yesterday. Also buzzing, the former private sector representative in the Senate believes that the gains from the semi-monthly payments to public officers would be short-lived. Christopher Diali is not expecting the initiative, which began on April 15, to have a bumper impact on economic activity. All right, so these are the stories that are buzzing this morning, and like I said, we have a guest. We have a nurse talking about vaccination week. So after we get this out of the way, we'll try to have as much of a conversation as we can on those topics. This is where we've got to take the break. We've got to go do the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather. Those of you on GBN Television, we've got a rebroadcast of last evening's television news. But those of you who are stuck here with me on Classic, we've got the AM edition of the News, Sports, and the Weather. See you on the flip side of 7.
But when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. Oh, I'll be right next to you. No, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands. We got everything we need. Cause you can look to me whenever you're in need. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide. The light that shines our way. Wherever you road leads, we'll be right there with you. Wherever you road leads, we'll make your dreams come true. Next side, next side, next side, right next to you.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Thanks for joining us. It's full speed ahead for Spice Mass preparations. While carnival lovers are looking to enjoy the fun and frolic, businesses are looking for an economic boost. Touting the win-win situation, Spice Mass Corporation is calling on the business community to step forward and make its contribution.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Alva Brown, is reminding all stakeholders that Spice Mass is a multi-million-dollar industry, as he called on the business community and all creatives to step up and make their contribution.
It brings together stakeholders in a collaborative effort that creates a tremendous amount of economic activity that trickles down to every aspect of Grenadian life. At this stage, we have no choice but to ensure that we get it right.
He said government will provide the necessary resources needed to ensure that Spice Mass remains a grand festival. Chief Executive Officer of the SMC, Cecil Noel, echoed that appeal for stakeholders to invest in the Spice Mass product.
We need you, the stakeholders, to get involved, especially the business community, potential sponsors, as benefits, especially the financial returns, are plentiful during Spice Mass.
The Grenada Tourism Authority continues to do its part in marketing the destination as a premier tourist destination. Spice Mass is one of the attractions promoted. Chief Operating Officer of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Mrs. Kul Hoshialik, said reports from the overseas market indicate a definite buzz for Spice Mass. She disclosed additional flights expected for Spice Mass 2023.
From August 7th to September the 1st, JetBlue will operate a second daily direct flight from New York, departing JFK at 9:50 p.m. So that's going to be arriving in Grenada at 2:47, so it's going to be a red-eye flight. Caribbean Airlines will operate 2 direct flights from JFK, one on August the 8th and one on August the 11th. And Caribbean Airlines, again, they are going to be supporting and providing or operating 2 direct flights from Toronto Pearson International Airport on this August 7th and 8th.
Mrs. Hoshialik said that an exit survey will be conducted on the completion of Spice Mass.
The survey will go for over a 20-day period. The survey will provide us with not only qualitative but quantitative data, which will drive decision-making and planning going forward.
The theme chosen for Spice Mass 2023 is The Evolution, which places emphasis on traditional mass. Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of Spice Mass Corporation, Cecil Noel, had some words of advice for carnival lovers, especially those with serious responsibilities. He's appealing to parents and guardians to ensure their children are safe throughout the carnival season.
We're inviting you out to the shows. Come out, support. But in so doing, please manage your finances wisely. It is extremely important. For those parents, and we know that is something that happened, a lot of the parents will be attending. We're asking you to ensure that your children are left in safekeeping. Too often we hear of those sad stories which we don't want to be associated with Spice Mass or nowhere at all. We are asking as a people that we see the need to dress more modestly.
The SMC CEO is also appealing to the public to drink responsibly, bearing in mind the increase in vehicular accidents and fatalities recorded in recent months.
And we ask you, please, don't drive under the influence of alcohol. We have seen the rapid increase in the number of accidents, many of which are fatal on the road. Carnival is a time to express our culture. It is not a time when we want to be expressing it, having to go to the church or to hospital. So we ask you to be mindful of that. And we ask you as well, for those of you, as we seek to work along with the church communities, to honor your spiritual responsibilities, to send out a message to help our people to do what is necessary for this our activity to be one that we truly enjoy.
Artists are being encouraged to ensure their lyrics are clean and uplifting. Mr. Noel is reminding all to be mindful that there is life after Carnival. Well, opposition leader Dr. Keith Mitchell is calling for an apology from Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, who has alluded to there being a cabinet conclusion to support his claims that money from the sale of the diplomatic passport was diverted to the NMP party office just before the 2023 general elections. Nisha Paul has the rest of the details.
The Prime Minister made a major mistake, and the Prime Minister should never find himself in that position.
Dr. Mitchell shared his perspective on GBN's To The Point program this morning. In the wake of a challenge from the opposition leader late last year, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell released as promised receipts showing separate sums of US $50,000 and US $90,000 were wired to the bank account of the New National Party's South St. George constituency office weeks before the June 23rd general elections by a Polish national who also paid US $150,000 to the government of Grenada in exchange for a diplomatic appointment and diplomatic passport.
And we know that the cabinet conclusion that he quoted, he stated did not exist. So it is clear that his statement was false and extremely unfortunate. So he was asked to provide the cabinet conclusion. No, up to now he's done, and then it came with some diversionary tactics, providing receipts about how some money's $140,000 entered some account in the South constituency. Well, I'm not the member of the South constituency, and of course I am not on top of any account in the South that no one does for every single constituency.
Dr. Mitchell says it's not unusual for political parties to receive financial donations during an election period.
If someone gave a donation to a constituent during an election period, the parties, the NNP party, the NDC party, receive millions of dollars of donation from different sources in and outside of the country. So what is a $140,000 donation? But the fact is that money was not meant for the cabinet, for the government of the country. And therefore the Prime Minister should do the most honorable thing. He should have apologized, but that's his problem. I say over and over, I have done it already. I've made mistakes. And I go publicly and apologize.
The opposition leader has also taken issue that Prime Minister Mitchell has not apologized for what he describes as a mistake made when he alluded to there being a cabinet conclusion outlining that the figure due to the Treasury was US $290,000.
When you're wrong, you're wrong. And since you are not God, it's expected that you would make mistakes and be humble enough to do so.
All right.
It's obvious the Prime Minister may not be humble enough. And I think maybe he has a problem with admitting a mistake. And I think this is going to haunt him, because you cannot and you must not make that kind of allegation against former members, against anybody, not forget about former members, against anybody. And when proven that you are wrong, you refuse to apologize. That is a fundamental problem.
Prime Minister Mitchell had announced that the Financial Investigations Unit, the Integrity Commission, and the Royal Grenada Police Force have all been roped into the investigations surrounding the sale of a diplomatic passport. To date, no updates have been presented to the public. For GBN News, I'm Nisha Paul.
Now, owners of hair salons, nail shops, barber shops, and other businesses that fall under the beauty and wellness profession are at odds with the regulations that are set to be implemented in order for their businesses to operate on the island. More in this report.
On Monday, the National Training Agency, the Grenada National Accreditation Board, and the Allied Healthcare Professional Council met with beauty and healthcare providers to update them on the process of being certified, accredited, insured, and licensed in order to continue to operate on the island. The costs and procedures relating to these requirements did not sit well with the service providers, and as such, people found it necessary to speak up on the matter.
But I'm
saying, we are beseeching the government, the people involved, the board. We are beseeching you all to please look at this document again. You understand? And come through with something that everybody can be happy with. We are happy with the certification. You understand? It's something of proud for you to put your certificate in your relevant, salon or whatever, in display, and say, well, you're qualifying this, you're qualified in that. But I'm saying that most people here are angry. It's like something being forced down your throat. Whether you like it or not, you take it. You understand? And the world doesn't work that way anymore. It's not like we're not appreciative of what they are trying to do, but you have to do it the right way.
Why this pressure is coming upon us? Because it's a pressure, and I heard you said that there's nothing you can do with that paper you have there. That is not true. Listen, everything make and anything could break. And listen, we could come, we could sit down, and we could put things on the table. The products went up sky high. My light bill forever in my home alone is $500 plus. So we're talking about at least I have to budget for $600 for my light bill at my home alone. I'm not talking at the shop. Go back to who? Whether it's the Prime Minister, whether it's who helped, whether it's what. And I am serious about it, because then a lot of people will be closing down and it's more problem in the country.
These new guidelines fall under Section 2, subsection 55 of the Health Practitioners Act. It is essential to bring the beauty and healthcare industry in Grenada to regional and international standards. Dr. Nicole Forth, chair of the Allied Healthcare Professional Council, explains.
That govern your practice. It's just that Grenada has been doing it wrong for so long that it starts to feel right. We are now getting abreast with international and regional standards so that you can provide the quality of care to the nation, and as a tourist destination, you don't want legal actions to come against you. This is a national requirement. We do understand that with changes and everything that is new, it's going to be a struggle.
With the meeting going sideways, officials at the head table advised the group to come together and form an organization that can be met with those in authority to air their concerns so that both parties can meet a common understanding.
Now, I would like to speak to the barbers and the hairdressers. If you guys could come together and form an association, have a little chairman, and then you say, okay, our association would like to meet with the GNTA to discuss X. We would like to meet with the Allied Health to discuss the fees, to discuss the procedures, the documents, whatever.
Business owners who fail to meet the requirements stipulated on Monday can be fined over $100,000 or spend time in prison. For GBN News, I am Rena Pet Thomas reporting.
This is Network News live from the Grenadian capital. Still to come from us. Godfrey Simon pleads guilty to non-capital murder of his former lover, Sharon Williams. Stay with us. Godfrey Simon has pleaded guilty to non-capital murder in connection with the death of his former lover, 48-year-old Sharon Williams. Williams' death by a former lover was the country's 6th homicide recorded in October last year. Nisha Paul reports.
Godfrey Simon, better known as Oos, was arraigned on a non-capital murder charge in connection with causing the death of Sharon Williams at the start of the new assizes at the St. George's No. 1 High Court on Monday. The 60-year-old laborer of Beaton St. David will be sentenced for the gruesome crime by High Court Judge Madame Justice Paula Guilford on July 23rd. Simon is being represented in the matter by attorney Jerry Edwin, who explains the reasoning behind the swift handling of the case, which dates back to October last year.
The matter has moved quickly through the criminal justice system on account of a paper committal process, which replaces a preliminary inquiry. So once a defendant says, I will go through a paper committal, not an admission of guilt, but it's a process that allows the matter to move quickly through the magistrate's court.
Attorney Edwin disclosed his mitigating plans to rely on evidence to be accumulated in the psychiatric and other reports that have been requested by the court ahead of sentencing.
I believe that in this case, the psychological and psychiatric evidence would indicate that Mr. Simeon suffers some psychiatric impairment. So we will, in the first instance, rely on the psychiatric evidence. We'll also rely on the fact that he has pled guilty.
Williams, a mother of 6, was repeatedly beaten to her death with a plank just outside her home on October 31st last year, following a heated verbal argument with her now convicted killer earlier that morning. Her death came more than a decade after she ended a romantic relationship with her killer after he chopped and severed one of her hands. Simon had served a 7-year custodial sentence at the Richmond Hill prison for the offense of maiming and was released back into the Beaton community where the deceased lived with her family. For GBN News, I'm Nisha Paul.
Meanwhile, the two men from St. David, 29-year-old Alvin Joseph and 25-year-old Prince Harry, who have been implicated on 7 charges of rape and robbery with violence, will also be sentenced on July 23. Here's what we can tell you. The incidents reportedly occurred in the community of Dudmar, St. David, on New Year's Day. The arrest of the men brought the curtains down on investigations into an alleged crime spree in the parish of St. David. They have been represented in court by Attorney-at-Law Jerry Edwin, who had previously indicated to reporters that he does not plan to mount a defense in the case against the two men.
The charges range from burglary to rape of a male, rape of a female, robbery with violence. It was reported that they had imbibed crack cocaine, and it led to a devastating series of events. A man was raped. A woman was raped. Their house was broken into by these defendants. They committed the further offense of robbery with violence, in addition to the burglary and the 2 rapes.
According to Edwin, his clients are deeply remorseful. He explains the seriousness of the offenses.
The offense of rape, being the most serious, is a term of custody not exceeding 30 years. In effect, that's a life sentence. Within our criminal code, our criminal law, rape is treated as an extremely serious offense. And I believe in this case, the judge may impose a very strict sentence, given the circumstances around the offenses. But let me
Alvin Joseph, who has been described as a laborer, is unknown to the court. However, Prince Harry, who is listed as unemployed, has a lengthy criminal record and had only been released from prison less than 2 months before committing the offenses. Child sexual abuse continues to be a bane in Grenada. The issue is being addressed again as the Child Protection Authority engages in a series of activities for Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. Beverly Telesford has this report.
The alarming number of child sexual abuse cases continues to be a scourge in Grenada and stands at the center of this year's Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month activities. During the month of April, dubbed internationally as the Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, the relevant authorities seek to create awareness on the importance of families and communities working together to prevent child abuse and neglect. Blossom Alexis Welsh, Corporate Communications Officer at the Grenada Child Protection Authority, says, the authority has a number of activities planned to create awareness about child abuse throughout the month.
This month we have scheduled a number of visits to some of our schools. We also have scheduled, which we have to confirm the date for, we want to plan a session in the city, part of the city, bring the message to members of the public instead of waiting for them to get to us. And that session, we're going to do it on a Friday afternoon in the city of St. George and spread and continue to share the message with members of the public. We are collaborating with the GNCRC on that initiative to ensure we have maximum reach and maximum material that we can share with members of the public. Another thing that we have planned, which is going to show national support. This Friday, God willing, we have dubbed it Wear a Blue Friday, which is why I'm wearing the blue this morning to help raise awareness of that day. This day, we're asking members of the public to wear shades of blue, any blue that you may have, to show your support for child abuse awareness and prevention.
Alexis Welch says child sexual abuse continues to record the most disturbing numbers among child abuse cases.
Child sexual abuse continues to be the most prevalent form of child abuse. In 2018, we recorded 203 cases of child sexual abuse. In 2019, it was 140 cases. 2020, the year when we were really buckling down with COVID-19 regulations and lockdown, we recorded 156 cases of child sexual abuse. 2021, there were 86 reported cases of child sexual abuse, and in 2022, there were 152 reported cases of child sexual abuse. And I stress here reported because there are still a number of cases that have not been brought to the attention of the Child Protection Authority for various reasons.
Child physical abuse, she says, closely follows.
Second on the list of prevalence would be child physical abuse. We still have people who are in the name of discipline and some who are just malicious. We still have physical abuse being one of the prevalent issues. In 2018, we recorded 107. 2019, 110 cases of physical abuse. In 2020, it was 76 cases. In 2021, we recorded 41 cases. And in 2022, we recorded 108 cases of child physical abuse. A lot of times, parents would say, I was just disciplining my child or children, but there is a thin line between discipline and abuse. And a number of times we as parents, we cross that line.
Building together, prevention in partnership is this year's prevention theme for Child Abuse Prevention Month. Reporting for GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
All right. Well, some say double can be trouble, but in this case, it simply means the more the merrier. It's time to take a peek into the GBN Eyesore lens.
A good eye captures all. GBN Eyesore is brought to you by Clear Vision.
There is a saying that good things come in pairs. The fruits in tonight's Eyesore took the saying a little too literal. Featured is a conjoined French cashew and a conjoined cross-pollinated mango. A citizen journalist in Mount Parnassus, St. George, picked the French cashew. The hybrid mango featured is a cross between a Shebo and Ceylon mango and was captured by a different Eyesore reporter. Although this cross-pollination of fruit is usually done artificially, this also occurs naturally, as in this case. We thank both our citizen journalists for their timely submissions, as the usual seasons for both fruits have started rolling in. Continue to keep us in the know via your submissions to our WhatsApp at 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
Kirikou Maroon and String Band Music Festival, Friday, April 28th to Sunday the 30th. 3 days of intense and rich cultural diversity on display. Day 1, Friday, April 28th, PAHO Village, 6 a.m. The opening rituals, wetting of the ground and blowing the shell. 3 p.m. sharing of the smoked food, Saraka style, into the flambeau parade and official opening ceremony. Day 2, Saturday from 11 a.m. Strings in the city. Downtown Hillsborough transforms with the sweetness of live string band music. Then at 7:30 p.m., we all journey to the Botanical Gardens for cultural explosion. And the night ends with a stirring performance from Sabrina Francis and Solid, the band. Sunday, April 30th. Day 3, Sunday's party night. It's all about the bands. From 4 p.m. at Paradise Beach, come see performances from cultural groups and Kiriku's live bands. It's a long weekend, so we're gonna make it an all-nighter. Saturday tickets cost $40. Sunday tickets cost $20. Groups of 10 pays a special price, $50. Kirikou Maroon and String Band Music Festival. Let's celebrate our traditions and culture. They fortify us against adversities.
Get ready to experience the ultimate Spice Mass launch 2023. On Friday, April 28th, the Stadium Car Park will be transformed into an electrifying arena of raw talent and energy. Starting at 5:30 p.m., you'll be blown away by the incredible lineup of artists set to grace the stage, including Boise, Terra the Governor, Lil Natty and Thunder, Lava Man, Looney Spark and Electrify, Jab King, Lil Carey, Lil Jello, Dash, Crave, Mozo, Scala, and many more. But that's not all. Prepare to be amazed by the traditional mass, Moko Jumbies, Jab Jab, Short Knee, and Veko. Plus, your reigning Panorama champs, Co-op and Comancheros, will also be there to add to the excitement. And the best part, it's completely free. The Stadium Car Park is the place to be on Friday, April 28th. Get ready for an epic night that you'll never forget. Spice Mass, the evolution.
WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
Girl, the children are growing up so fast. When I leave here, I am going to take Tevin to get his MMR vaccine.
Kayla was supposed to have another appointment for that same vaccine. But Natalie, I'm not sure. On social media, they're saying that it's not safe. Plus, I can afford to miss work.
Girl, the vaccines are safe for decades. They protect our children. You got vaccinated, and I'm sure you're all right.
Yes, but these diseases aren't out now.
Grenada is open to childhood diseases from all over the world. Today, we have a choice to get our children vaccinated or not. Go get it done, girl. It won't take long.
I suppose so. Anything for my princess.
I want to be protected.
Check your doctor or the Ministry of Health to get the information on immunization against childhood diseases, including HPV and polio, and COVID-19 for elderly persons and persons living with non-communicable diseases.
At the NIS, our team proudly works to support the evolving needs of Grenadians. We have made some changes to our operations and want to keep you informed. Firstly, we are happy to introduce the new unemployment benefit. This benefit will provide an insured person with 50% of his or her former income in the case of sudden unemployment. To support this benefit and other benefits we offer, it was necessary to increase the contribution rate. The contribution rate will increase gradually each year until it reaches 16% in 2031. As always, the contribution will be split between you and your employer. The pensionable age will also increase from 60 to 65 years. This increase will also be gradually reaching age 65 in 2029. Pensioners will continue to be eligible for a pension from age 60, but will receive a reduced payment. The NIS recognizes that the prices of basic customer goods are increasing globally. Therefore, we are happy to also increase the weekly minimum pension payment by 25%. Finally, we have adjusted our survivor's benefit payment to a percentage of the age pension minimum. widows, widowers, and dependent parents will receive 100% or $58 weekly, while children will receive 50% or $29 weekly of the deceased's pension. We are here to make the transition to these new changes as clear and simple as possible. If you have any questions on how these changes impact you and your family, please contact our new informational hotline at 440-6647 or visit www.nisgrenada.org. Thank you for allowing us to be your Social Security provider.
Records at the Traffic Department shows that a total of 1,447 accidents were reported for the year 2012, which includes 3 road fatalities. 2,946 accidents were reported for the year 2022, which includes 8 road fatalities. This is a significant increase of 104%. This is alarming. When a family tragically loses a loved one, does it matter whether by means of a gun or a motor vehicle? To avoid accidents, drivers and pedestrians alike must exercise extreme caution when using the road.
Welcome to the highly anticipated second season of Caribbean Medical TV, the first and only medical TV series that showcases the Caribbean and the emerging issues on all health and wellness forums in our region. Like season 1, the voices of our very own citizens, our local and regional doctors and medical experts forged the basis of the show. This season, we take the first groundbreaking original show even further. This series aims to empower our people with knowledge, from ways of detecting to ways of healing ourselves, protecting citizens with chronic diseases from COVID-19, while showing how they can manage their conditions effectively and safely receive needed health care while preserving what constitutes the very core of our Caribbean culture, its predilection for flavor, spirit, and rhythm. This is truly a holistic wellness agenda for our Caribbean people.
All right, viewers and listeners, welcome to this aspect of the conversation this morning. And as I hinted to you earlier, we do have guests, and not just guests, we've got guests this morning. You hear the S and the N, right? Good. So this morning I am joined by two wonderful people. Firstly, it is often said ladies first, so I'm going to go with the lady first. I don't know if that's the culture in the other gentleman's native homeland, but we'll see as it goes along. This morning, I'm joined with a senior community health nurse, Hannah St. Paul, and also all the way from Cameroon, but he's on island. He's taking some spice breeze this morning. Dr. Arrey Charles, he is a PAHO consultant, and this morning we'll be talking vaccination and immunization. As you know, this is immunization week. It started, I think it was on the 22nd or something like that. Good morning, lady.
Good morning. In a sense, if I should call you that.
That's okay. That's okay. They haven't proven anything otherwise yet.
And thank you for accepting our invitation to join you on your program this morning.
The pleasure is always ours.
The Ministry of Health welcome this opportunity as we share information with the public.
Okay, good. And good morning, Doc. How are you?
I'm good, Innocent. Good morning.
Yes,
thank you for inviting me
bonjour.
on this program. I want to thank you immensely for the support you've been giving to health promotion. Thank you.
Well, that's all part of the mandate of the GBN, all right? So it's nothing strange, but thanks for the commendation, though. Let's get into the meat of the matter. Vaccination and immunization is a very touchy topic these days since the advent of COVID-19. As a matter of fact, I'm so happy that we're having this conversation this morning so that it will rearrange the ignorance of quite a number of people as it relates to the children getting vaccinated. Nurse, we'll start off with you. Could you tell us about that week of activities as it relates to Vaccination Week?
All right. Well, Innocent, what is currently happening, as you rightfully stated, from the 22nd of April, the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization, together with countries and territories throughout the region of the Americas, is celebrating what we call the 21st Annual Vaccination Week in the Americas and the 12th World Immunization Week. And we are doing that under the slogan and also a call to action to the population under the slogan, get up to date, each vaccine counts. This week of celebration is really used to bring awareness. It really used to emphasize the protection that vaccines have provided to individuals and their loved ones over the years. And it also used to emphasize the importance of vaccination in preservation of life and helping us to live long, healthy lives. So in bringing the awareness, the Ministry of Health would have planned and implementing several activities. Most of our activities are community-based. So it is centered around our community nursing department, or what we call our public health nurses. So they're out into the communities doing what we call mop-up, because we have seen a significant decline in our immunization coverage over the years. And I guess you would speak into that a little bit later.
Definitely.
So they're out there, they have gone through their registers. All of the children and persons that are not up to date with their vaccines, they're out in the community doing caravans, searching for these persons, trying to ensure that they are up to date. They are into the schools throughout the week, all of our schools, targeting more so our 14-year-olds for the third dose of diphtheria and tetanus, and our 4+ for the second booster of diphtheria and tetanus and polio. Because as you can appreciate, our region was certified as polio-free for over 39 years. However, if you follow the news, in 2022, we had a polio outbreak in America. And polio is threatening again our region. So we are losing our level of certification quickly. We were also known as a region that was free of measles. We no longer have that level of certification. So it tells us that we have this disease back into our region. So it is
before you go further, could I just interject here with a quick question? Now, what can you say is the main cause for the re-emergence of the polio and measles in the region?
We are losing our level of immunity against this disease quickly, Innocent, because of the decline in our vaccination coverage. When we have high vaccination coverage, we have a greater level of immunity. So the risk of this disease entering into our countries are less. However, over the years, our region and Grenada is no exception, could have boast of 98% vaccination coverage. For these diseases, we try to achieve a 95% immunization coverage to ensure that our people are protected. In Grenada today, we have over 30% of our children not vaccinated because our immunization coverage for these diseases like polio is showing 70 and 69%. Our immunization coverage for measles, mumps, and rubella is showing 52%. So it is a significant concern, and that is why Immunization Week in the Americas is so important for us, because it helps us to concentrate and to bring that awareness to persons. Okay. I was continuing on the activities, and so that is our community-based activities. We have reached out to churches, NGOs, meeting with persons within the community to provide education, updating them on the importance of vaccination and the risk if they are not vaccinated. What are the complications, the effects that can happen? How does it put an additional burden on our health sector? How does it affect our tourism sector? Because, Innocent, if we have one case of polio in Grenada, it's considered a pandemic, and then we would not be having our flight restriction. That would be countries would be putting up flight restrictions. They would be advising their persons against going out traveling into Grenada. We cannot risk those things because our economy is very fragile and we have to protect it. And persons may not link vaccination to that level of protection, but vaccination contributes throughout, not just health, but it affects our economy as well.
Okay.
So we would also have a panel discussion, and we'd be asking persons to come out at the St. Paul's Community Center on the 27th at 7 p.m. We have a panel discussion. We have a panel of experts to answer your question. Come out and ask your questions. Come out and get factual information. Because one of the contributing factors to our decline in our immunization coverage is a bit of hesitancy as a result of misinformation or not factual information. Persons seem to be more comfortable going with the rumors,
the fake news,
the myth. Yes. But come out and get the factual information so that you can make better choices. You can make an informed decision, and as a result, we can see greater acceptance for vaccination. We'll see a demand for vaccination, and in turn, we would increase our vaccination coverage, and it would help to protect our country on a whole.
All right.
We also have an awareness walk on Saturday. We're trying to go back into the communities to reinvigorate that spirit that we once had for vaccination among our people. So we have that walk on Saturday at 3 p.m. from Progress Park in St. Andrews to Tivoli Junction in Tivoli. Before that walk, though, we will be having a health fair for the children in Tivoli and the surrounding areas. So we're asking the parents to bring them out. We have the best team of pediatricians with us. And we also have an obstetrician gynecologist for the mothers. We have the community health nurses would be there. We're offering pap smear and VIA free of cost. So you can come out, ladies, come out and get your pap smears done. And we have a team of dentists with us as well to do dental examination, because it's a week of promoting vaccination. We know vaccination normally is centered around our children. So we want to kind of make our children and our parents understand the level of importance that how vaccination fits into this whole healthy lifestyle that we are preaching.
Okay. All right. So that's a very compact week that you have. And I do hope that the populace take advantage, really get on board with the vaccination program. Firstly, if you have any misconceptions, misinformation, go on out to the discussions, solicit information, and because one of our Facebook users says, I have been vaccinated for everything growing up and had no idea what it was for. Once your parent says you have to take it, that's the last say. And I can say I had no side effects up to today. But now the world is so different. You question everything. Before we started the interview this morning, I said to my listeners and viewers that I remembered as a youngster going to the Tivoli RC school, when you see that vehicle come and it's time for vaccination, children crying, they bawling, they going down, but you have to go down. And at that time, they used a gun, and it was like, psst, you remember that? But look at me, I'm healthy and strong. Yeah, I have it on my arm. Yeah, you understand? I'm healthy and I think it's because of all this vaccination that I took. It had my body, my immune system so up that I survived leptospirosis and all, you know. So tell you what we do. I want to have a little more conversation with Dr. Arrey, but we take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we talk about vaccination as from a PAHO's perspective. Folks, we take a quick commercial break. We'll be back after this. Don't you go anywhere.
GRENDEC Community Partnership Initiative.
Leicester is the main fishing village in Carriacou, and we have lost a big part of the reef system around Carriacou over the years. The GRENDEC funding will target relocating by rock structures, and a lot of the reefs that we have lost we can replace. So I think we're really grateful and thankful to GRENDEC for coming through with that funding for us.
GRENDEC, energizing our community.
No, girl, that was yesterday. I can't believe all they said that. She didn't.
Mom, can you help me, please? I'm having some trouble understanding.
No, you serious?
Mom, can you help me, please?
So y'all sit down and say that? Okay then, bye. Here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's ensure that you are well prepared for this exam.
Parents, you have a crucial role to play in helping to prepare your children for the CPEA exams. Help them or seek additional help so that they can revise the concepts they learn at school and give them a better chance to be successful and move on to the next phase of their lives. A message from the National Parenting Program, Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs.
Hello, I am Pettifer Lewis, the Executive Director of the Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce, representing the private sector. From where I sit, I can see how volatile both the local, regional, and international economies can be as a result of financial shocks, pandemics, natural disasters, among others. Having the NIS Unemployment Benefit Program is certainly a step in the right direction. This will help to alleviate the burden that arises from unemployment. Remember that people who are employed not just support themselves, but support family members as well. The NIS Unemployment Benefit Program will play a very important role in assisting our citizens to mitigate hardships while keeping the local economy stimulated during future challenges like these. This is a very good program, very good initiative, and I support it.
All right, welcome back, viewers and listeners, to the conversation, this aspect of the conversation this morning. I am talking with a senior community health nurse, Hannah St. Paul, along with a PAHO consultant, Dr. Arrey Charles. Doctor, good morning once again.
Good morning, Innocent.
Right, good. You sound like we went to school together. A man calling me innocent as though we went to primary school together.
I doubt. I was just asking us if you are really innocent or it's just a name.
How do I look?
Right.
All right, Doc. From a PAHO's perspective, in Grenada, we are seeing a high level of hesitancy as it relates to vaccination on a whole now. As I said earlier, in our youthful days, it was mandatory. You had to take it. Your parents say you have to take it. But now we find a situation where parents are hesitant to allowing their children to take vaccine. Speaking from a PAHO's perspective, do you find that sort of problem elsewhere?
It's rather unfortunate that with the level of education that we've attained as compared to yesteryears, we are misinforming our own very population. The problem is not only limited to Grenada, it's a global problem. I just wish to inform our population, our communities, that the same vaccines that we are giving the children today are the same vaccines we received. There are a few new vaccines that have added. And I don't think anybody has an agenda to harm his or our own very community. Vaccines are safe. Vaccines are meant to protect life. Like the adage goes, prevention is better than cure. The vaccines we are giving, let me take, there are many people today who did not hear of smallpox.
Right.
Smallpox existed. It stands to vaccination or immunization that we were able to clear smallpox as a disease.
Okay.
Now, if I take another disease, polio, for example, I want us to look at the complications of some of these diseases before we get to, so that we can better understand the benefits. If we take polio, polio is a disease that causes paralysis, especially of limbs. Can be upper limbs or lower limbs. Imagine you with 3 children who are all paralyzed. That's a burden to the father or to the family.
Right.
If we take measles, which many people do not even understand, the complications of measles are enormous. Measles can lead to blindness. It can lead to deafness. You have a child after measles infection does not hear well or is blind. Measles can also result to mental disabilities, but it is a vaccine preventable disease. If we take another, rubella. Rubella can result to congenital rubella syndrome, leading to fetal malformation. Imagine a young teacher or nurse, because if we don't vaccinate children, they can easily contaminate their teachers. They can contaminate the nurses, teachers of childbearing ages. We give these vaccines to children and adolescents, but if we don't vaccinate them, imagine your wife, your daughter, your sister, who is a young nurse of childbearing age or a teacher, contaminated because children were not vaccinated against rubella. She is pregnant and is contaminated with rubella, gives birth to a malformed child. How will you, the husband, how will your family, how will the young woman and the community receive such a child with malformations?
Okay. So the implications are real.
I'm coming. I'm not innocent. That's why I said maybe you're not innocent. I'm coming with the complications. Take, for example, human papilloma virus. It's the cause of cancer of the cervix. Imagine your daughter, your mother, your sister, your auntie with cancer of the cervix.
It's not a good feeling.
Because of treating diseases due to viruses, vaccine preventable diseases, the cost of treating vaccine preventable diseases is higher than receiving the vaccine against these diseases. Now, I want to paint this picture so that people understand why we lay emphasis on our communities to receive life-saving vaccines.
Yeah. Okay.
So, after having painted just this picture, do vaccines have benefits?
Of course.
That's the question to the community.
Of course, of course.
I should not be the one to answer. The community should give answers to that.
So this is a call. This is a conscience call.
Thank you.
This is a call. But in traversing, right?
Yep.
You know, you must have, you know, after a while, sort of gathered information, data that why all of a sudden, because in our age, I mean, I think we are around the same age group. I'm in my early 60s, or you know, so
no, I'm getting to that.
So why is it all of a sudden? Is it true to the saying that too much information sometimes creates problems? Because in our parents' day and age, you know, growing up with my grandmother, I couldn't ask a question. She did not ask a question. Vaccination and immunization were coming to the schools, and it was like normal. You have to take it when it comes. But nowadays, with so much information out there, people are still hesitant. And what do you think is the cause of this?
We have there is a lot of information, like you say, but there is a lot of misinformation and disinformation, which I think in learning, there is a hierarchy. When you are in school, the next level is your teacher. You get the right information from your teacher because you have trust in your teacher. Another source of information is the recommended textbook for that subject. Recommended because a group of persons have gone through the textbook, they've read, and they are certain that the information that the writers, the authors of that text, of the textbook have given are correct information. That is how we studied. Now, the community today is not getting to the source. In our communities, the nearest source of correct information is the health facility, is the healthcare worker. When you get into a health facility, we have nurses, the different cadres of health workers. Present your question to this group of persons. If you ask me a question on health and I do not have the answer, there is no shame. I will consult another person, another colleague I think has perfect answer to the question you asked me. We've been doing that. As a clinician, I always have my textbook, medical textbooks of medicines by my side on the table. In front of my client, if I am not sure of what I have, the act I have to carry, I make reference to my notes. Or in front of them, I call a colleague and present my problem and they guide me. These things happen even in the theater.
Okay.
When surgeons are stuck, they call colleagues and they give them helping hands. And that's how we've been operating. But today, with social media, we think social media, unfortunately, has become the new hospital. It's rather unfortunate, I repeat, that the social media has become the new hospital. Who are those posting on social media? Everybody has a right to go on social media if you have a smartphone. But how credible is your source of information? That is the question. Anybody can post anything.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Now, for those people who have developed that level of hesitancy as it relates to their children getting vaccinated, some of the concerns that they have would be things like the side effects and the after effects and so forth. Could you sort of clarify that, especially as it relates to the ones that are, you know, the vaccination and immunization that are ongoing now, the polio, the rubella, the measles, and so forth? What are there side effects or after effects?
Good. Thank you. All vaccines, like other medications, have side effects. I wish to start from that premise. All vaccines, like other medications, even the paracetamol, which we abuse, has side effects. The side effects of vaccines usually are minimal. It's true, we've had some rare, serious side effects. And these side effects, when they are reported, they are noted. They have been the persons presenting with these side effects are being followed up and managed. So I will not dispute the fact. I repeat, all vaccines and other medications have side effects. Now, if you take a vaccine or a medication, please report the side effects. Okay. We've always said that if you go to our health facilities in Grenada, you will find the registers. We record for any vaccine. When you take your vaccine, that vaccine which you were given has a batch number, which is recorded. Innocent took this or that vaccine, batch number, this on this day at this time. Now, when you present a side effect, we go back to the batch. What did he receive? He received polio vaccine batch number this on this day. Maybe there are other persons who reported side effects. So we record them. Now, another thing is this, is that the same paracetamol or the same vaccine preventing against a particular disease, let me remain with vaccines, the same vaccine which protects us against COVID might have been produced by different laboratories. So the ingredient in the vaccine might be the same, but the production was done by different laboratories. And some of these vaccines contain substances which help to preserve the vaccines. You might not react directly to the vaccine itself. You might react to some of the ingredients we use in preserving the vaccines.
Okay.
So I repeat, side effects for vaccines are minimal, might be fever, pain on the injection site. Report your side effect. Don't report what another person reported. You didn't take a vaccine. Why are you reporting something you did not participate in? Somebody presented with rash, for example. Somebody, you are saying somebody, you did not take the vaccine. I took the vaccine. I had no side effect.
Okay.
Innocent took the vaccine. What was the side effect you experienced? That is how it goes.
Okay, yeah.
Because when you did not experience, you did not participate in the immunization campaign, don't distort information.
That's where the
experience is what we lived.
Yeah, that's where the misinformation starts.
Yeah.
Good.
I can tell my brothers back home that Grenada is hot. I've lived in Grenada. And when they ask me, how is Grenada? I quickly associate Grenada with another town in my own country.
Okay.
It is hot here. It's a seaside resort. I have lived here. If I read it on social media, I might have a different perspective, another information about Grenada. But I am living here.
Okay.
But people believe our food that we eat is not present in Grenada. No, I take snapshot of the plantains, the yam, and everything, potato, the same food.
Good.
So I am living the experience of Grenada.
Yes.
Take your vaccine, report your own side effect. Don't report the side effect innocent experience.
Have your own experience.
Yeah.
Have your own experience.
And again, no two individuals might report the same experience. Even identical twins are not the same, like we say.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, Doc, I'll come back to you. I want to go back to I'll go back to Nurse St. Paul. So could you specify what are the vaccinations or immunizations that will be administered during this period? You seem to have your mic muted.
Yes, your mic.
Sorry, Innocent.
That's good. That's good.
We are encouraging the entire population to go out into the community centers and have their vaccines up to date. So as a result, during this week, all of the vaccines that we offer within our immunization program would be available to persons. We have in our program, we offer about 11 to 13 vaccine preventable against, we immunize, against about 11 to 13 vaccine preventable diseases. So we would have available for you your hepatitis B vaccine, varicella vaccine. We have influenza. We are giving our children their polio, the diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, Haemophilus influenza type B. We also have HPV vaccines available. So we are asking everyone to come out to review your cards for the adults who still have the immunization cards around. See if you're updated with your vaccines. If not, please come out. We are still in the flu season. And Innocent, during our flu season, we call our flu all different names.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the name this year?
I am not aware.
I feel the flu for this year is apology.
All right. So we have our flu vaccines available, and we are encouraging persons. It's a vaccine that you can have every year because it protects you against the flu during the season. So why every year? Because every year there's a different strain of flu, the flu virus out there. So you have to get protected against whichever strain that is circulating within the environment. So we are encouraging persons. This is one of the vaccines that persons usually resist a lot. Innocent, to tell you a story, in 2020, over the years, Grenada has always have influenza vaccines on their schedule. And every year, at the end of the flu season, we have to discard thousands of doses of vaccines, vaccines is very expensive, by the way, because persons were not accepting it. However, in 2020, when we started hearing about COVID-19, and persons decided that it's not COVID, it was influenza. That's the only year Grenada did not discard any influenza vaccine. We usually bring in over 4,000 doses of influenza, and persons were calling constantly asking if we have influenza vaccines because they need to get vaccinated. So in 2020, 4,000 persons receive influenza vaccines. However, now that COVID has died down, if you want to call it that, because it's not gone, it's still with us.
It subsided a bit.
Right, it's not raging as it used to. Everybody has gone back into their comfort zone, and we have the influenza vaccine on hand, and we are gone back to pre-2020 numbers, which is unfortunate because what it did for you in 2020, it can do for you in 2023. Okay. So we are offering all of these vaccines, and we are asking persons to come out and ensure that they protect their loved ones.
As we wrap up, right, we're running out of time. A question that would be very frontal in the heads of most people. People have that tendency to think that they will be tricked, their children will be tricked into taking the COVID-19 vaccine. Is that going to be the case?
No, in a sense. Every healthcare practitioner has a license that they have to protect. And in practicing medicine, practicing healthcare, there's a lot of ethical principles that you have to be guided by. So notwithstanding that, every Grenadian, I always say, are related. So it even takes you have a moral responsibility to ensure that the vaccine that you're giving to our children are safe. And there is no way, nowhere within our healthcare system that anyone would disguise any form of medication for another, not just COVID vaccines. So we are not giving persons COVID vaccines if they do not request it. As a matter of fact, we do not have pediatric COVID vaccines on island.
Okay.
So we cannot administer COVID vaccines to children because we don't even have pediatric COVID vaccines on island. So that myth that we are disguising vaccines, COVID vaccines, and giving to our children, it's really far from the truth. Vaccination has been something we have been doing for decades now. So there is no way that this is happening in our healthcare system.
Okay. All right. So as we wrap up, Nurse, I'm going to come over to Doc in a while, but Nurse, could you just quickly tell us the expanse of the week of activities that started on the 22nd?
You want me to tell you?
When the week of activities, when does it culminate?
Oh, our week of activities ends on Saturday, the 29th. That is the end of the immunization week. That is a week of celebration. However, because of our low immunization coverage, we will be carrying out that awareness throughout the year and continue to have our mop-up session, our caravans out there to ensure that we get back to that 95% that we're supposed to achieve for all our vaccine-preventable diseases.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And Dr. Arrey Charles, in wrapping up, what advice would you give to the Grenadian populace, especially the parents, in ensuring that their children going out and accept the vaccine and immunization?
I wish to inform or tell my brothers and sisters in Grenada that vaccines are free, they are safe, and it's a right for their children to get vaccinated. I'll be very, very happy if tomorrow I hear the people of Grenada have gone to the street because government has not provided the much needed vaccines, because it is their right to have the children vaccinated.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Doc. And I do hope that you enjoy your stay with us here and make Grenada your second home. And, bring the family over. You'd enjoy it quite a lot. And Nurse Hannah St. Paul, thank you very much for that informative segment this morning. And I will continue. Well, I'll speak with you subsequently so I can get some more information that I can disseminate to stimulate people to get on out and have their children vaccinated. So thank you very much, and all the best with your drive.
Thank you so much, Innocent, and we appreciate this morning.
Yes, Doc.
Thank you, Innocent. Have a good day.
You too, and I am innocent, okay?
I'll continue to be innocent.
All right, folks, this is where we end the conversation this morning. I have been speaking with Dr. Arrey Charles, a PAHO consultant, and Nurse Hannah St. Paul. She is the senior community health nurse as they promote the immunization and vaccination week, which started on the 22nd. Go on out, get your information, clear your head and show that you're doing the right thing. And most importantly, have your children vaccinated. That's it for the conversation this morning. We look forward to another one tomorrow. It's just a few seconds away from 8 o'clock, and we will join the BBC at 8. Thank you for being a part of the program. Bye for now.
So it begins, a journey like none other. Every moment has the potential to be unforgettable. Bring home a piece of the tropical green forest with every emerald. Capture the sparkling light of flawless water in a diamond. Make the sunrise and sunsets last forever. With precious colored gemstones, the essence of happiness is in our most precious memories. So, when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will last forever. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via superb service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
Girl, the children are growing up so fast. When I leave here, I am going to take Tevin to get his MMR vaccine.
Kayla was supposed to have another appointment for that same vaccine. But Natalie, I'm not sure. On social media, they're saying that it's not safe. Plus, I can afford to miss work.
Girl, the vaccines are safe for decades. They protect our children. You got vaccinated, and I'm sure you're all right.
Yes, but these diseases aren't out now.
Grenada is open to childhood diseases from all over the world. Today, we have a choice to get our children vaccinated or not. Go get it done, girl. It won't take long.
I suppose so. Anything for my princess.
I want to be protected.
Check your doctor or the Ministry of Health to get the information on immunization against childhood diseases, including HPV and polio, and COVID-19 for elderly persons